So I decided to buy another Star Wars Transformers crossover. And I like getting my favorite characters, and I decided I'll try to get the General Grievous wheel bike. And I walked into the toy department, and I got the General Grievous wheel bike. This is like a little insert that's in the package. It's really cool. You flip it, and it's like, oh, it's the wheel bike, and then it's General Grievous. So I got the wheel bike, right? You may be wondering, why aren't you showing the toy? We'll get to that. But yeah, I saw the robot mode, and I'm like, hey, that actually looks pretty decent. And I saw the wheel bike mode, and I'm like, yeah, I mean, sure, General Grievous' head is just sticking out right there, but it actually looks pretty decent. So I opened it out of the box, because it's been in the box well over a decade. And as I'm playing with it, I'm noticing it's pretty much just imploding. And it is. Here we go, General Grievous wheel bike. So let's look at the state of it currently. So it was in the wheel bike mode, but it's shattering to pieces. This is supposed to be attached with this clip right there. Clearly that clip is just completely busted. So let's try to reassemble it. I figured we would have some fun together trying to reassemble him instead of me just doing it before the video. So yeah, that goes there like that. And then this, the ball joint socket broke off, so you just gotta kinda, and you can see it just flops around now. Yeah, you may be wondering, how did this happen, Adam? Aren't you careful with your toys? And the answer is yes, I'm generally pretty careful with my toys. But this guy suffers from something called gold plastic syndrome. And you also may be wondering, oh, but his plastic isn't gold. Well, you can see his plastic kinda, they decided to like change up the color. I think it could be like partially yellowed as well, but this gray plastic, like it feels really odd and brittle. It just imploded. So what you're kind of looking at here is the front. Right here you can see for transformation you have to fully flip in the hand. And when you do that, this whole panel right here, this whole piece of the plastic just shatters off. It just like goes flying off, so that's lovely. And then his legs also, you can see they just broke off. So you just kind of got to get those back where they go in his pelvis, and his pelvis also broke. So you can see how it's just split right there. Yeah, this thing is oh, that pops off, and it's probably gonna break here soon. This thing, I just wanted to start off just by showing you like this, because this is probably the worst. It's just I can't get it back. This is just probably the worst thing ever that I've ever owned ever. I don't think anything has topped this when it comes to just destroying itself immediately. One of the only other figures I have with gold plastic syndrome is the Transformers 2007 Protoform Starscream. He is just sitting in a bag in a drawer because he's shattered. And this will suffer the same fate. $10 completely down the drain with this guy. Let's try to get an approximation of the wheel bike, just kind of holding the legs there because they don't really want to stay in, and then this piece doesn't stay in anymore. So here's an approximation of it. He has his little missile here, which kind of looks like a red lightsaber, but it's just a missile, and it fired very far. I don't know where it went, but that's gone now. And you also have the seat over here, which, God, please don't break. Honestly, I don't care if you do at this point. You have the seat here, and of course, because it's a little Transformers crossover guy, you do get a little figure. Let's zoom in on him. He's actually pretty nice. It's not perfect. Let's just set down that massive heap of trash. You can see it's a figure. He's kind of sitting down. You can't move his arms on this one just because of Grievous's design. No cape, it's just Grievous. But hey, it looks pretty nice. At least I can display this thing, right? So, getting back to this heap of... I don't know what to call it. Is it garbage? Is it junk? Is it a dumpster fire? Is it... I don't know, but it's one of those. And the thing is, the actual product itself was not even that good to begin with, because the leg joints are pretty loose. They were just very loose, and they flopped around, and they did not like staying in place, so it wouldn't even want to stand up in the bike mode before it broke. So let's try to transform it, I guess, see what we can do with it. I just wanted to film this video ASAP so I can just put this guy in a drawer and never touch it again. So since this piece is broken off, we can just kind of set it off to the side. We'll worry about that later. These things, they kind of like compress It was supposed to be compressed in the vehicle mode, I forgot. And then that thing right there, you just flip that in. But you flip it out, right? Then let's just get that. Oh, come on, arm. How did this arm get stuck in there like that? Yeah, let's get that arm out, because this is, it's not oh, yep, bro, I knew there'd be another break right on camera. Right there, boom, that ball joint is also broken. So both of these, and look at how it's shattered too. It just comes apart, man. It's awful, and you can see there's no stress marks. This is what gold plastic does. It doesn't stress. It just degrades and shatters like this. Anyways, what you need to do with these pieces, you flip them in, and then they were kind of cleverly tuck in right in here. I might be able to sort of get them in. I don't know, though, anymore, because they do kind of have a tab up there. So they do kind of... Did this break off, or did it just come off? Looks like it just came off, but it'll probably want to break off soon enough. I bet this piece is just going to shatter off here soon. Anyways, let's get these kind of in here, because I think this is a really cool idea. It's just, that's the thing with toys that just break like this. I've been wanting to make a video on gold plastic syndrome for a while, and while this isn't a full-fledged video, it's at least one talking about it. The thing is, I think a toy epically fails, and is at its absolute worst if it fails to function in the ways it is intended to. Like you saw that piece right there, it just broke as I was moving it properly. I wasn't stressing it out. It's on a hinge and a ball joint because you need to move it in certain ways. That's just not going to sit in right. So there's the back pretty much transformed. You do have the seat on the back, on the side still. So in the robot mode, you do have the Grievous in there, and you have the little hinge on that. So there's the backpack. It won't attach on the figure anymore. Here's the top of the figure now. You fold these things down, and then, oh, hear that creak? I feel like his shoulder, oh, it just popped off, but I don't think it broke. I feel like, oh, man. This guy, when I was transforming it the first time, just made so many pops and creaks. It is just, oh my god. So then you get his arm panel, and you get that kind of out like that off to the side, I think. Yeah, there you go. And his hands are actually pretty cool, because they fold out like that. And you have a double hinge for the fingers and a hinge for the thumb. And it actually allows him to hold his lightsabers very securely, which is a surprise. Articulation on the arm. He has a really nice ball joint at the shoulder. Nice bend at the elbow and a swivel. He doesn't have the forearms, unfortunately. But he does have, you know, arms, and they're pretty good. So yeah, there's the top. And then, oh man. Then this would have just been on that clamp right there. It would have just gone on just like that, but it won't stay on at all anymore. So that's how that would have looked. He just would have had most of the vehicle on his back. The legs then. Let's talk about the legs. So what you do, you slide that up, then you get that like that. And then you flip the foot, the toe, and then you get that. And then, did I just mention, just don't buy this thing? Because if you clicked on this review expecting to like know about this before you bought it, don't. It's gonna just implode. It's just gonna be garbage. And if you want a General Grievous Transformer, you should just get the Starfighter and not this one. Because, oh, did that break or did it just come off? It just came off. I keep expecting it to break. Here, it needs to fully go in. It needs to. You can see it's not even fully pressed in. It's just, it doesn't want to go. So then, you take the broken pelvis, and you put the broken legs inside the broken pelvis. And, oh, is that a little plastic bit? Because, see, that's another thing about gold plastic. It just, you'll feel a little... See, it just, these pieces were off in the box. It just didn't even want to stay together. So, not even including all of it breaking apart, his thigh swivel will just not stay together. So, with that being said, is that it? Have we kind of transformed him? Looks like we have. Oh my god. This is by far... It's kind of funny. I've made videos on these Transformers where it's like, oh, is this the worst? Is this the worst Grievous ever? Or is this the worst, you know, Obi-Wan? This is the absolute worst. This is the absolute worst General Grievous toy. The absolute worst Star Wars Transformer crossover. This is the absolute worst. This is the king. I can't believe it. I was actually expecting this to be pretty good when I saw the picture and the little thing. I'm like, hey, that looks kind of cool. And then this happens. So here's how it would have looked fully, unbroken. Pretty decent looking, massive backpack. Before he broke and shattered into a billion pieces when I first got him in robot mode, he did not want to stand up because he's got these tiny little feet and he has this massive backpack, so he would not even want to stand up ever at all. Man. He came with 2 weapons. Naturally, you got a blue lightsaber and a green lightsaber. And believe it or not, they actually have different hilt sculpts, which is really nice. I really do appreciate that. Even the 12-inch General Grievous from Revenge of the Sith just had the same sculpt for all the hilts. So, like I said, he has the double hinges on the fingers, so that actually allows him, believe it or not, to wrap his fingers around the lightsabers pretty securely. I say that as it's not really doing it too well. But yeah, you can see he's holding the lightsaber. It's not really too much of an issue. He's holding it. It has a good sculpt, so it's not just sliding out of his hand. Too bad it absolutely sucks and will just break apart in your hands. So I'm happy there's an on-camera break. I'm really happy because I needed to just demonstrate how trash this thing is. I'm not even mad. That's the thing. Like, you would expect me to be ranting like, I can't believe blah, blah, blah. But see, it's not Hasbro's design fault. It was kind of like something where they just didn't know how fragile this plastic was and that it would just break at any goddamn moment. And I keep expecting that to just shatter, but it just pops off. Yeah, they didn't know how bad this plastic was, so I can't blame Hasbro. And see, Hasbro themselves, they've moved away from this plastic. This doesn't really happen anymore. The only other Star Wars Transformers crossover I know that has this happen is the Chewbacca. The Chewbacca and Han Solo Millennium Falcon. I said that about the hands and then it's sliding around and going all weird. The Chewbacca Millennium Falcon, the Chewbacca, the plastic color they used for the fur, just does not work. So yeah, that's kind of it. There we go. There is the Transformers Star Wars crossovers General Grievous wheel bike. There's an extra little piece right there, the piece that broke off, always a treat. Absolute garbage. Do not buy it. The thing is, the actual figure itself was not great. Not that good. Didn't like standing up. Had pretty decent arms and a pretty nice sculpt. I didn't really talk about that. But the sculpt is pretty nice. It looks the part. It looks like General Grievous from the head and the torso. And I like how they used the legs. I think they integrated them well. The articulation on the legs, you can see the ball joint, and then he just had a hinge at the knee, which was kind of ratcheted and actually went pretty deep. The ankles, though, you couldn't really do too much because he had these giant pieces kind of getting in the way, too. Yeah, it's absolute dumpster fire. Absolute pile of bantha fodder. Just avoid. Stay away. Do not recommend. At least I can give this lightsaber to maybe my Obi-Wan Kenobi. At least he can have a lightsaber now, maybe. But yeah, there we go. Make sure to comment, like, and subscribe. Check out my social media links down in the description below, as well as my P.O. Box address if you want to send me anything. I'm not going to buy any more Star Wars Transformers crossovers. I think I'm done. I think this guy just made me done. I'm done with him. Were these... Looks like he had little slots in the wheel bike. Were these for his lightsabers? Looks like he had these slots to store his lightsabers in the wheel bike. Yeah, looks like you did have wheel bike storage for the lightsabers, so if you care that much, you could have stored them in there. At least I can salvage. What was it? Where'd the lightsaber go? Oh, it flew on the floor. I can salvage these. Everything else is going to go in a bag and just in a drawer forever. Bye. Fuck. Hello there, General Kenobi. Looks like my job's already done. No, wait. I can still kick your ass. Army or not, you must realize you... So uncivilized.